Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michele VanDusen and Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michele and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, it's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. We'll have a ball, with June, who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support, with Michele, who's really short. Now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause.
Welcome to the award-winning Live Support Podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with Michele, with one L VanDusen, who is holding up the poopery. Michele, why are you holding up poopery and hand sanitizer?
Well, because you said, go ahead and start recording. I'm going to rush off to the bathroom. Hopefully I'll make it back in time. And I thought, well, do you need either one of these? Do you need?
I'm good. I have my, I don't have it close to me. I have my Rhonda Corey clean comedy hand sanitizer. Yeah, there you go. I got mine. I've got that somewhere, but I've got some other here. So thank you so very much. Did that panic you, Michele? Did that panic you?
Yes, it did. It did panic me because I thought, like, if I had to leave this location to go to the bathroom and come back, I have obstacles in my way.
Oh yeah.
Like a cat who will just lay at the door. And so to get in and out of something, I got to make sure that cat, just doesn't jump. Anyway, but
listen, I have a bathroom right outside the door, so I could go and get back in 10 seconds or less. And also, like, having boys who are athletes, and especially when they ran cross country, I really think that I can pee quickly because of the porta potties. Because nobody wants to stay in that bathroom any longer than you have to. So
and those are too tall. They're always way too tall. So we need to have a short.
They're not.
We need to have a short porta potty, like for shorter people. Like, it needs to be a child size one. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be a child's, because even as a parent and you take your kid in there, you got to hold them up over, because you don't want them to.
Yeah.
So it's why are we talking about bathrooms?
I don't know. I was going to say this was not on our notes at all. This was not in our notes at all for the conversation of the podcast today. I feel like it's been forever since we got to sit down and talk.
So let's talk about our bathroom.
So let's talk about the bathroom. Why not catch up on that? So life has been a little bit crazy. Speaking of your cat, let's talk about that little fella. How's he doing, Michele?
Okay,
how's he
you see
doing?
how I have that paw way back there?
Yes.
See that paw?
That's
a waving goodbye paw, because he is now fixed. So he's no longer a tomcat. And so as soon as the paperwork gets through this week, that cat is going to college, people.
Just in time for Christmas break to come right back home. That's
don't
what's gonna happen.
Christmas break, I think, is a month long too. Because I'm so excited because I'll get to uncover all my furniture and wash all of that stuff, and I'll be so excited and get rid of all the little bits of fur everywhere and the little.
Your little dude's lost his little doodles. That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. It gets him ready for school. That's what should happen to all dudes who go to college.
that would definitely. Don't forget to spade and neuter your college students.
Yes, there you go. That's a whole new campaign.
Bob Barker.
Well, speaking of, so we talked about dude stuff. Let's talk about lady stuff real quick. Okay, so this will air in October. Look, I keep
it'll air in November.
I mean November. But right now it's October.
Yeah,
right now it's October, and October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Okay,
what?
And I just want to take a minute. I'm aware. Look, I'm going to show you mine. Okay, hope, strength, fight. I got my breast cancer T-shirt on, and I just wanted to mention it. We didn't record early enough to be able to have this air in October, but that's okay because
November.
Or No, October. We didn't record it in time
Oh,
for it to air in October.
If we
It'll
wanted
air
to
in
release
November.
it early, we could.
Yes, don't confuse me, Michelle. Don't
Yeah,
confuse
I'm
me.
sorry.
Okay.
Well, you keep saying
So
October, like November. Yeah.
So I just really quick, because I've had a lot of people in my family. One of my very best friends from high school has battled breast cancer, and she's doing great right now, which is awesome. One of our close friends in the fire department, his wife has gone through it this last year. And I had an aunt pass away from breast cancer, and my mom was always very serious about me making sure that I would have a breast exam every single year. And so mine is not scheduled until November, but I always schedule in October for November. And so I have, I'll show you, Michelle. Do you see in the back? Can you see my lollipops? I can't. How do you do that? How do
Well, I
you
mean,
pointed so well? I'm not good at.
let me
Here, let
figure
me
out
just
how
grab
to.
them.
Okay, you just grab them. I'm gonna make her the solo layout so you can see it.
Okay, here we go.
There. Okay. All right. Can
There,
you
do
see those? There.
Okay, it's lollipops. Why do I have lollipops? So the first time that I had my mammogram, I think in all situations, especially uncomfortable ones, it's fun to have fun and to be goofy and to laugh and whatever. And so the first time that I went to
Yeah.
have a
Is
mammogram,
this
I told
is that how many times you've been? Is that what
this
this
is
is? You
how
keep it.
many, this
You keep it.
possibly is. No. This is my Halloween candy, but I had it in a little display, and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to grab two. The first time that I went and had a mammogram,
Yeah.
we got done, and the lady was like, "Okay, well, that's it, hon, and your doctor or whatever." And I just stood there, and she goes, "Okay," and I said, "Well, I'm waiting," and she said, "For what?" And I said, "Well, for a lollipop. Don't I get a lollipop? Like my kids always got lollipops when they behaved." And she goes, "Get you a lollipop." And then she brought me one. And I was like, well, I kind of feel like I deserve two, don't you?
Yeah.
So my first year, I got a lollipop. And I say, if they don't give you lollipops, then just get your own. But last
And
year,
ask them. Yeah.
I went and bought 2 donuts, and then I did a post about how I had been there, done that with my 2 donuts. So so I didn't want this month to get passed, especially because of the people that I just love so dearly. And some that lives have been saved because they had a mammogram and there was early detection. And so yeah, so I just wanted to mention that this month. I'll be going next month. And to all my friends who have been in the fight and are in the fight, I love you. I'm praying for you, and Jesus and Junebug loves you. So I wanted to bring that up today. And I love that you're wearing pink, and you didn't even know I wanted to talk about that today.
No, had no idea. My grandmother had breast cancer. Of course, she was 89. So, she didn't do anything about it for that. Uh, but I was just thinking your next video of Who Are These Women?
Yes.
You need to do Who Are These Women about breast cancer. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that might be the next
And
one
and
that I do.
the lollipops, because the ones that you have there are flat. I think I think you
Oh, the ones
start off
they give you the round ones at
yeah,
the.
but that's before and then after. Like
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Yes, I need a round and a flat. That's
and
correct.
and then you can do homemade exams where you just have one of those because guys like machinery, the not the drill press, but something along those, like a panini press or
Like
something,
the vice, a
yeah.
vice in the garage. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, a DIY. Let's
A
not do the
can crasher,
DIY.
a can crusher,
Yeah.
when you got your metal cans. Okay, okay,
Now
that's
you're
enough.
making it
That's
hurt. Now you're making it now. Okay. Okay. So moving on, VanDusen.
anyway,
Moving on.
get checked. Okay, go ahead. All right.
Get checked. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we haven't seen each other in a little bit. We're going
No.
to talk a little bit today about the LOLGCA that I went to last month. So,
Yes,
so
we
my
need to
dad,
hear about it.
yeah, my daddy hot dog. He had quadruple bypass surgery. I was scheduled to speak at this conference, and comedy, it doesn't slow down for life, does it, Michelle? Like
No.
life happens, and there's a schedule, and we do the best that we can to honor all of our contracts and the places we're supposed to be. But sometimes you get put in a position where it's family is first. And as a side note, and maybe we'll talk about this on another episode, as a side note, it's pretty critical that you have a contract whenever you do agree to do an event with somebody because of situations like this. I just recently got a contract back for a show that's going to happen in December. And one of the things that's written in my contract is that if there's a natural disaster,
inclement weather,
things like that, it lists like the things that if this potentially happens, if A happens, then B, we reschedule, I find an alternative, comedian of the same caliber, those kind of things. And so, in this situation, my dad was supposed to have open heart surgery September 1st. I wasn't scheduled to do this event until October, right? So not a big deal. He would have been a month past surgery. Some things happened. He had to have another procedure to prepare him for his open heart surgery. And I just kept going, God, I want to be here. I want to be here when he has surgery. He's 72 years old. He, he's having open heart surgery. He only had 30% function of his heart already. And so it ended up working out that he had surgery on Monday. I was able to be with him Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then I left Wednesday afternoon to go to Virginia. And it was helpful to be going to the Gospel Christian Association, to their conference, because I was around a lot of believers and a lot of people who prayed. And so, they were checking in on me, checking in on my dad, and really lifting him up in prayer. So every day I got to hear reports of how he was doing better. But LOLGCA, Living on Laughter, Gospel Comedy Association, their conference in Triangle, Virginia.
You were a speaker this year.
I was a speaker.
You didn't just go to attend.
Yeah.
You were a speaker. So like how did that happen and how did it go?
A lot of people ask that. How did that happen?
Well, I didn't ask it with that. It wasn't like, how in the world did they pick you? Like, that's not where I went. I was like, how did it happen? Like, the details behind it.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. Okay. So how it happened, I believe, is I went last year to their conference. It was the first time that I'd gone. And our friend Bone Hampton, we've mentioned him several times on the show, has been a mentor and a friend to me. And Bone was able to be there with us last year. But while he was there, he was really starting to get sick. It's when his illness, he's been sick, and he was hospitalized and then into a rehab center, really didn't walk for a year. And has gone through a major, major health crisis this last year. And one of the things they wanted to do this year with the speakers was also to lift up and encourage Bone as he continues his health fight and battle that he's going through. And so they kind of looked out at a few speakers who they knew that Bone had invested in their life. And so they reached out to me and said, hey, we would love for you to talk. We want you to talk about the Creative Motion Network, which is where you can see the Life Support Podcast. And also where you can see June's journals and, several other, the Breaking Down Four Walls with Maurice Brown. They knew that I was doing quite a few things with the Creative Motion Network. Yeah. And so in the conference, they wanted to talk about how did my program end up on there? How did our talk show, how did our podcast end up on there? And also if I could weave in some things about Bone and his mentorship.
Oh, nice.
And so I ended up giving a talk called, Is It a Good Idea or Is It God's Idea? And because, I was at the Gospel Comedy Association, and these are all people who have faith in God, and all people who, Willie Brown, who is an amazing ventriloquist, he was one of the speakers there. And the title of his conversation was We're More Than Comedians.
Okay.
And so we had this, conversation about how us, Christian comedians, people in faith, we feel there's a bigger purpose behind our comedy, and that it's not just about highlighting ourselves, and it's about, making sure that we're glorifying God anytime we're on stage, that we are bringing what the Bible calls good medicine to people by bringing them laughter and joy and all of that. And so the title of my conversation was, Is It a Good Idea or God's Idea? And I was able to talk about how simply, basically, very simply put, I was spending time with Bone during the first part of the shutdowns, and how we were having a conversation about how a lot of people were doing stuff online, and how our friend Rhonda Corey had her talk show and was really blessing people, and comedians were getting together and having a good time and connecting in a time where you couldn't be close to people. And if you guys haven't watched it, Rhonda Corey, Talk is Cheap. We have mentioned this before. Yes, Talk is Cheap. It's on Tuesday nights at 7:30 Eastern Time, live streaming on Facebook and YouTube at Rhonda Corey Comedy. And Rhonda started this thing when people weren't able to get together. And she managed to get comedians together and to play games and to have great, it was kind of a variety show. There's tips and, there are people who talk about real estate. There are people who talk about, there are, I started to say hairdressers.
Yeah, there's
recipes, but not hairdresser. Sorry. It's, like stylist. It's stylist.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like an archaic name for someone, because that truly is.
I cut hair like that, that archaic. Give me scissors. No. Yeah. And there's also, I think last week there was like, mental illness or like stress tips, or how to relieve stress, I should say, not like how to get stressed, because that would be wrong. You'd like, oh, you need stress tips? Well, here we go.
Here's some tips on how to get stressed.
Your plate. Oh.
But yeah, so I was talking to him about how Rhonda was doing her thing, how our friend Marlo was doing these coffee chats at the Cubby Hole.
Yeah.
And I told Bone, I was like, I don't feel funny. But I feel bad because I'm not doing anything right now. And I see people like Rhonda, and not in a way that I'm like comparing myself going, oh, well, look what she's doing. But it was just this like, well, they're doing things to really, add to people's lives right now, and I'm doing nothing. And he very simply said, has God told you to do anything?
Oh, that's right to the heart.
And I said, no. He said, then don't. A lot of times advice and friends and words, you don't have to say a million words. A lot of times the ones that strike the deepest are just a couple of words, right? And he just said, did God tell you to do something? He didn't, then don't.
Yeah.
And it released me from this like pressure of like feeling like I was not doing what God called me to do, because if you know my testimony and my story about comedy, like this was a God thing. This was God's idea. But I got to talk about how the only reason why I can find joy in comedy and not completely freak out, because it is so anxiety inducing every time you go on stage. And especially if you go trying to represent God, then we know that there's an enemy that doesn't like that. And he will speak into your head. And I can't imagine somebody without faith, because I know that people who aren't Christians, who are comedians, they deal with the same thing, the fears, the anxiety, the insecurities, all of those things. For me, I have the Holy Spirit in me that can give me a sense of boldness that I would never have without the Spirit in me, and without people like you, Michele, and Rhonda, and Marlo, and a list of amazing women who will pray for me before I go on stage. So I got to talk about that.
We're supposed to pray for you? Ugh,
well, you always say you are. You're one of those, aren't you? Where you're like, I'm praying for you. I'll pray for you.
We definitely pray for you for sure, because we know, we're like, oh Lord, you got extra prayers for her,
Yes.
No, I agree with you, because everybody, it rains on everybody. The Bible talks about how it rains on the just, the unjust.
Right.
So it rains on everybody. So it rains on believers, it rains on unbelievers. And so stress is happening, pressure is happening for all of us. That whole not feeling like you're not doing anything, that whole comparison of I'm at home, I've got nothing on my books, I'm losing money, like all of that pressure. And I love the fact that as a believer, we do have the peace that passes all understanding. It's like Jesus is like, I got you. He told us in the word, he said that his peace he leaves with us.
Right.
And And he had peace and he went to the cross. So,
Yeah.
like, come on. So, how can we not, just have peace within all this pressure? Okay,
Yeah.
continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so and at the LOL, it wasn't just like a bunch of kumbaya moments where we said crisscross applesauce and sang Jesus or whatever
Yeah.
a non-believer like may have in their brain.
Grab out the guitar.
These folks are not playing about craft either. First is
Yeah.
Christ, and then at this conference, it is about craft. And we had amazing speakers that were there. A comedian named Platinum, there Akatunde, Shanita Chocolate. A lot of people know her as Chocolate. Shanita spoke, comedian Coy. I told you Willie Brown, Christina Wilson. She's Ella the Spella. Oh my gosh. I can't spell anything, and she spells everything. And it
Really?
is, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Like she's like, I mean, you just got to see her. You just got to see her. You got to look up Ella the Spella. Dawn.
Wait. Ella. So ELLA.
Yeah, Ella the Spella.
Then the THE, then Spella or
I think
Spellin?
SPELLA.
Okay.
SPELLA.
All right, Ella the Spella. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do it.
So Shanita Morris, Platinum, Willie Brown and Friends, Akatunde, comedian Coy, Christina Wilson, and it is ELLA the Spella, SPELLA. And then our friends Dawn and Chris Womack. Now I hadn't met her. Dawn Davis Womack. She's on Breaking Down the Fourth Wall with
Maurice Brown.
She's on there quite often. And her husband, they hosted a session where basically they have an open mic in their basement. She books shows, but they basically workshop in their basement.
Yeah.
And basically everybody who wants to come and try out material can. They run it very tight. You have so many minutes, they've got the clock. They do it just like you were
at an open. Clean.
It's I'm pretty sure it's got to be clean.
Yeah.
Anything that they do there.
Yeah.
And so they do it just like you were at an open mic at a bar somewhere, but you're not. You're in a space, and they give feedback to each other after each one. So it's a really, really cool concept. So at the conference, basically 3 of us got up and they ran it just like they would in their basement and showed you how you did it. So I did, I wrote that DIY bit for the Indiana show that I did. I only got to run that a couple of times, new material. So I wanted feedback from them on that as well. And so I did that little bit. And it was really cool. Both Dawn and her husband performed. There was a comedy showcase the first night we were there, and then the second night, Akatunde, he hosted his. I want to look it up and make sure. Well, I'll come back to that. But anyway, his comedy, basically touring show that he's got going on, he brought that to the conference as well. I got to see our friend Christian McCartney perform.
We just had him on a few weeks ago.
We just had him on. Comedian Felicia Frazier, aka Fifi. Listen to me, Michelle. You know I don't laugh. I watch.
Not out loud. Yeah.
I am telling you, Fifi had me dying. She is so talented, so funny. It's exciting because I get to see, and I know these folks are funny. I know they're good. But when you get to sit and just really watch them do their thing, her physicality, her facial expressions, her body language, her timing, her natural ability to conversate with the audience. She's a rock star. And I love getting to see these people that I love just shining, just doing their thing. As comics, like you're like, oh, I'd like to be up there. It's you're watching and you like to be up there. But I really do like just watching my friends. I really do like, I'm not sitting there the whole time going, I wish I was up there. I was having so much fun watching them just do an amazing job. It was
I like
super fun.
That kind of stuff too. Like when you're watching one of your friends perform and they're killing it, That is
Yes.
the best feeling because then you feel like a little prideful, like, oh, look at that. How you just
I
have
know her.
little pride, like I know them and they're doing it great. But it kills when they're not doing good, like
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's those nights, there's those moments, and it just wrenches your heart because you still feel like
It
you feel
does.
connected when it's
It
your
does.
friend. You got this connection, and you're like, oh, so if they're killing it, man, extra joy. And then if
Yes.
you're not killing it, you're like, ugh.
Unless it's just a junk room, like if it's just a bad room and
Right.
that they know and they're not internalizing this as defeat and they're just rolling with it and having
Yeah.
fun and you see them flaming and you can just you can laugh with them because like you can't laugh unless you know that like they're not hurt by what's happening. If they're
Yeah.
not hurt by what's happening and they're just like, well, that was that. My bombing story, I shared that in the good idea, God idea about, being
Nice.
in this like messed up situation and how it all exploded. It was horrible. But at the same time, it was so like in my brain, I was fine. I was like, well, God sent me here, so whatever. Like this is on you, Jesus, and I got my car and left because I'd done everything that I could do, right?
I love it. So is that like a pat answer for any Christian? It's like, well, you sent me here. This is on
It's
you,
on
Jesus.
you. It's on you. Like, but really, it was so far off the chart, crazy moment that it's either you died crying or you died laughing. And
Yeah.
I died. I died on the stage. I literally was told by the old lady that I was dead in the front row. She was referring to her sister named June, but
Yes.
whatever. I was like, girl, no,
June
you
Marie's
right.
dead.
You right. I'm
Yeah.
dead. June Marie is dead. But
Yes.
but yeah, so sometimes you can have fun when like you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? You can laugh. But speaking of supporting friends, so I got
Yeah.
to go this last week and watch our friend Christy Conder go to the Huckabee show. I went to
Oh,
the
nice.
Huckabee show. And the thing is that since my dad, since I came home from Virginia, so I went to the conference, had an
Mhm.
amazing time. Shout out to Miss Roxanne and
Yes.
Valina and Christine and Damon and Cornbread, Kenny
Mhm.
Robinson, and all the folks that made the conference so good. I mean, I'm telling you, I was blessed
Yeah.
my socks off last year and then going back this year, um, being allowed to speak. And then even they do on the final night, they do awards. They like to
Yeah.
recognize different people for different reasons. Our friend Bone last year, he was given the
Lifetime.
Lifetime Achievement Award. And they have awards of people who are supporting other people,
Yeah.
who, basically like a mentor type award. They have awards for being innovative. I believe that's what Dawn and her husband Chris, I could be wrong, but they were given an award basically because of what they were doing in the comedy world. And she runs shows, but also doing this
Mhm.
open mic that's open to anybody. And then they gave me an award, the Shining Star Award, which is, let me show you this trophy. Like it's no joke. Okay, so it's got their logo at the top. Do you see that? The
Yeah.
LOLGCA
It's
has their
fantastic.
logo at the top.
Oh, I
And
should
then it actually has my name on it. Mm,
let me make it big there.
you see
Comedian
it?
June Von Colson, Spirit of Laughter Award. Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's LOLGCA, Spirit
Yeah.
of Laughter. Which, okay, I'm sorry, Spirit of Laughter. That's the perfect award for you. Because you just talked about how you don't always laugh out loud. It's the
Yes.
spirit. It's within. It's
It's
within.
just in me. It's just in me.
It's
But
just
they
in.
have
I'm laughing on the inside.
I will read to you what this award was for, and you can agree or disagree that they gave it to me. But
Okay.
this is what. So they read this, and then they and I don't have a picture yet of me in that moment. I know we took a picture, so I got to reach out. I would love to have the photo from this. But it says, "LOL Christian Comedy Spirit of Laughter Award is given to a person who has the God-given comedic ability to incorporate the word into his or her comedy without preaching.
Mm.
Their tenacious skill to produce thought-provoking humor for everyone to enjoy is both enticing and captivating. The 2022 LOL GCA Spirit of Laughter Award is presented to comedian June von Colson. So
okay, yes. Okay, that's completely different than where I went in my head.
yeah. It
So,
wasn't for not laughing.
Yeah. Well, out loud. I was thinking out loud. But yeah, that's definitely your comedy is inspiring and funny. Like it's hilarious. The situations, your upbringing, everything that you put in is fantastic. But you're also very, very inspiring when you're up there, and whoever whoever hires you, whoever sits in the audience, whoever's listening, um, they always go away changed. Always.
Mm.
Absolutely, 100%. So, for the good, change for the good.
I
So,
was going to say, well, I mean, I'll take that. I'm not sure how.
change for the
but,
good, change for the good.
but I'm
Yeah,
telling
that's
you,
spot on.
absolutely an honor to be there. I'm going to look really fast because Miss Roxanne text me.
Roxanne. Yeah, it's Roxanne David, right?
Yes, and let me look and see.
She's fantastic. Oh my gosh, she's so
Oh
fantastic.
wait, actually it's in my messages because I want to let you guys know already, because here's the deal, Pickles. A lot of times people will miss these because they're like, oh, I didn't know about it until it was too late, and
Oh,
all
so
of
the
that.
dates?
So the date's already set for next year.
Yes, it
So it's in
is.
Triangle, Virginia,
Mhm.
and it's October 5th, 6th, and 7th. So she's already sent me the dates for next year. And I'm telling you, for the rest of my life, for the rest of my comedy life anyway, or even if I just don't do comedy, I still want to be with my amazing friends and family because it is such an open, fun environment where it's, you know how sometimes you do comedy in front of comics and they just kind of lean back with their arms crossed, ready to just judge you and not do the
Mhm.
ride with you. You will never get that at the LOLGCA. The folks there truly love each other, really want to see each other shine, and they will give you the laugh that you deserve. Like they really will. They will take the ride with you and they will encourage you and they will lift you up. And literally for the rest of my life, even if I stop doing comedy, as long as the LOLGCA conference is going on,
So is that right?
yeah, LOLGCA conference October 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2023 in Triangle, Virginia. I'm always going to want to be there and do everything that I can to be there. And I'm telling you, I drove because I like to drive. Also, with my dad being in the hospital, like I wanted to, if something happened, just get in my car and head back. Because Michelle, you know that my car has
Ooh.
wings and I can make it fly. And that's what I learned by being the daughter of a man named Hot Dog. We know how to drive a car, and we know how
I
to drive a
thought
car fast.
yeah, I basically any road is your speedway.
Yes, it's all, but I drove it 10 hours,
Okay, is that
and
right?
Triangle, Virginia. Yes. I drove the drive. Everybody's like, oh, I can't believe you drove. And I'm like, silence, just me and my car, me and Jesus, just on a ride for 10 hours. I will take it. I will take it. It's the most beautiful drive from Kentucky through West Virginia into Virginia. I can't even tell you how gorgeous it was. And then on the way home, I added almost 2 hours to my drive on accident. I ended up at the top of a mountain. I think I hit the wrong thing on my GPS and it gave me the scenic route. And I was like, I am straight up, literally straight up in the mountains somewhere. There were little festivals going on, and I was going over bridges and I was passing people with trekking poles and backpacks. And I'm like, I am not on the highway anymore. I was up in the middle of nowhere, but it was absolutely
That's
gorgeous.
funny.
It's a beautiful drive, and I had so much fun. But finally, back to Christy. So when I got back, I got to go. I spent about 2 weeks here at the house
Yep.
with Dad, taking care of Dad, and that's a lot, man. Somebody quadruple bypass surgery, just
When you have to be a caretaker of someone recovering from surgery,
yes,
it is a lot of it's a lot. It
it
is a
is.
lot.
I
So,
tell you, today I wrote a joke that said. It was the one-liners on the Hot Breath Comedy Network, right?
mm,
That's who we're sponsored by, the Hot Breath Comedy Network. This is my what today. Their word of the day was sick, and this was my joke. I knew, sorry, I knew when my dad got sick and moved in with me, it would double my duties. Now I forget both our meds. I don't know why he's with me. His medication, I'll be like, oh crap. Did I give you your heart meds? Wait a minute. Wait,
you,
because I
you know
can't.
they
I haven't taken my
pill
medicine.
organizers.
Oh no, I have that now. I have my husband went and he's got me straight. But like,
okay,
for the first week he was here, I didn't take my own medicine. I was so worried about his medicine. I didn't even take my own medicine. And I was like, wait a minute, I gotta take my medicine too. Like, oh my gosh, such a hot
why
mess.
am I laying on the floor right now?
Yes,
Hi, Dad.
yeah.
What's
Wait
happening?
a minute, I took his meds, and now he has my. Why is he taking birth control? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. That would be awful. Like my heart is racing and my dad's bloated. I don't know what's going on in the show. But so Christy did.
So what you're saying is you're having another baby in 9 months. Fabulous. All right. Good announcement. Good announcement.
Yes. No, Christy did the warm up for the Huckabee show.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I can work it out, because I've been in the house, Dad and I have been together, day after day or whatever. He's a fantastic patient. I truly am blessed to have Hot Dog in the house. We went yard sailing on Saturday. Like, it's a fun time to have my dad with me, but also like, I just needed to get out of the house. And let me tell you, Christy Condor, first of all, they call us comedy twins. She came walking out on that stage in this beautiful brown outfit, and it had this kind of mustard colored jacket and a cool chevron. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the show, I told her, I go, you do realize every time I see you, I'm like, ooh, that color combination would look good on me. Like, I'm looking at what she wears so that I can shop. I don't even have to try stuff on. We have a similar skin tone, everything.
She's wearing a chevron. What?
No, the little chevron decorate. That's a Chevy, not a chevron.
Okay, then I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I think it's called a chevron. I don't know anything about fashion.
So she's wearing this car coat, and you like it.
Yeah, she had a hubcap around her neck.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, like Flava Flav. You don't know who that is either, Michelle, but Flava Flav.
I do.
She had a hubcap. Do you really? Okay.
Didn't he have the clock on him?
Yeah, the clock. Girl, look at you. Look at you. I knew. Oh yeah, she does. She knows Flava Flav. He's so cool. Okay, so anyway, she rocked it. She did so good.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the show, when you go up to the lobby or whatever, and I'm standing with her, I'm literally standing beside her. I'm wearing a cream-colored shirt and blue jeans. She's in this decked out, looking sharp outfit. And a lady immediately walks up to both of us side by side and says to me, you are the comedian. You did so good. I'm like, I'm standing right beside Christy. I was like, no, not me. It was her. So we have this twice while we're standing there. Her parents are cracking up. Her daughter's cracking up. I'm finally like, okay, I love you, girl. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to leave. I go into the bathroom. As I'm walking into the stall, a woman goes, you were the comedian. You were so funny. And now I'm in the bathroom stall going, no, that wasn't me. That was my friend Christy. People confuse us for each other. I'm now talking in the bathroom. I grab, my stuff, wash my hands. I go out the door. And as I'm walking out the door, someone from the Huckabee show, an usher at the door, says to me, hey, your sister was amazing tonight. And I was like, yes, she was.
Finally, at least someone got it closer. It wasn't you. Okay, I love how we started off our show talking about bathrooms,
I was thinking that too.
And now we're ending on bathrooms. So you know what? Before we end, though, I just want to say that I got to go be laugh support for some comedians. I went to Lauren Lucille's The Unknown tour. They were performing in Arkansas.
Let's talk about that next episode. Can we do that? Because I know you've been on her show. Have we talked about that on here?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Either way, we need
a lot of life has happened.
I know. So how about next episode? So you guys join us. Next episode, Michelle's going to talk about the Unknown tour, which she has been on, and she's now gone and supported someone on the Unknown tour. You just did a show recently with a couple of comedians, and you are getting ready to do a big show this weekend. Yes,
I am. But when this airs, it will already have happened. So I'm just like, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yes, that's okay. But let's talk about next episode. Let's talk about all of those things, all about Michele on the next episode of the Laugh Support Podcast, because you heard enough about me. We've caught up with Junebug since our last round. And so make sure that if you want to watch this episode, you jump on to the Creative Motion Network. We're on YouTube, and we are also on Vimeo. So you can see us on there. Or of course, you can always listen to the Laugh Support Podcast anywhere that you listen basically any major platforms like Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And then check out Michele VanDusen on Facebook and Instagram, Michele Comedy, michellescomedy.com. And it's Michele with one L, Micheles comedy.com, michellescomedy.com, or you can find me at JuneColsonComedy.com and June Colson Comedy on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah. You find me with June Colson.
Just find us. Just Google.
Or it's JuneColson as well.com. I have both for my domain, so you can find me on either.
It's the first one that's gone by.
And one last thing, guys, make sure that you go to our social media sites and you go to YouTube, subscribe so that we know you're out there, so that we know that you're listening. We want to know who you are. Reach out to us. All right. Well, Michele,
tell us all about you.
I'm going to wrap this thing up. I got to go pee. So,
okay. All right. So this episode has been brought to you by Poopery.
It has not really.
And
Rhonda we will say for real, the Rhonda Corey Clean Comedy hand sanitizer. It has been brought to you by that. And by default, by default we'll say Poopery as well. Even though I don't buy the expensive stuff, Michele does. I'm
sorry, but this stuff is amazing. Okay, like this is a marriage saver.
Michele, they're not a sponsor. You don't have to talk them up. Okay,
but they're so good. It's so good. You've got to just put it in your stocking stuffers for Christmas this year. Just do it.
Poopery. Okay. Yes. I'm going to do it. Yes. I'm going to do it. All right, y'all. That's it for this episode of Laugh Support Podcast. As always, Jesus and Junebug loves you. Michele.
Yes, I do.
Tell them goodbye, my friend.
Goodbye, my friend. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and share and all of that exciting stuff.